Yeah, I'm Manish Singh with Tech Mahindra, and I'm the Vice President for SDN and NFV Solutions. Well, I'll be discussing about the CA VNA, the Virtual Network Assurance solution from CA. We are at a very interesting point where we're seeing a major transformation of the networking infrastructure happening, where the network infrastructures are moving from physical to virtual. A lot of our traditional networking solutions, the telcos and the enterprises have built using physical nodes, and they're now migrating to virtual network functions. And what that means is, if you look from a BSS, OSS standpoint, the existing solutions also need to evolve so that they can start to work with hybrid networks, which will have physical network functions as well as virtual network functions. We're working with CA and Juniper, bringing a complete integrated solution for a virtualized CPE, which will have virtualized CPE functions, which can be centralized, distributed, but then really taking them northbound, integrating with the CA Spectrum, as well as the CA's performance management solutions. And we'll be bringing in the CA VNA because a lot of these CPEs are virtual network functions. So again, from a VNA perspective, bringing those capabilities out from the underlying VNFs, in this particular case the CPEs, and really propagating them up into the OSS solutions from CA. If you look at the traditional BSS OSS solutions, right, they were working with the physical network functions. Now, as the infrastructure starts to get virtualized and you bring in virtual network functions, the OSS solutions, like from service assurance standpoint, if you think about it, they now need to go and work with the physical, but they also need to get all the information north to south from the virtual network function. And that's where the VNA comes in. You will have multi-vendor VNFs, so you have VNFs coming from different vendors, each providing their own modules and capabilities up, and VNA takes all that information from each of the different VNFs, and then it harmonizes them and feeds them up into the service assurance solution. And that's why you need VNA to really make the service assurance stack now evolve and work with the virtualized infrastructure. Well, I mean, we've been using, for example, as I said, the CA service assurance solutions, right, for physical network infrastructures, and we've been using that. Now, as the network infrastructure evolves more towards a virtualized network function, that really brings in the need for the VNA, so that now you can take the service assurance stack and make it work both with the physical as well as the virtual networking infrastructure. Right. I mean, so I think one of the other broader things as the industry is migrating from physical infrastructures to virtual infrastructure, I think there's a bigger question that the industry is looking at is how do we close loop the fulfillment and assurance, right? And I think as we look at closing the loop between the fulfillment and assurance, so that we can really start bringing in closed loop control and really start achieving higher levels of automation on the networks, right? And I think that's the next big step. And obviously in that regard, I'm sure, I mean, the solution will evolve further and bring in those capabilities that can make those closed loop controls realized in real world. CA is a great partner for us, and while we are a vendor agnostic systems integrator and we work with a number of solutions, CA is a great partner for us because they bring in the service assurance suite, and in this particular case that I talked about, where we are working with CA and Juniper, creating a complete solution stack. Now, what we needed in this particular solution was a virtualized CPE, right? So we brought that from Juniper, but we needed an OSS stack from a service assurance perspective that would support virtual network functions, and with CA's VNA, it had that capability, and that's why I'm here and working with them. The service providers, or even larger enterprises, I mean, when these service providers are looking at the service assurance solutions, one of the things that must be kept in mind now going forward, especially when we talk about OSS transformations, is The networking infrastructure is evolving and will migrate from physical network functions to virtual network functions. And we will have networks that will have hybrid network functions in them, physical and virtual. And so the OSS and BSS infrastructure and solutions must support both the physical and the virtual. And so anybody who's making these decisions going forward, when they're thinking about how the OSS service assurance stack needs to migrate and transform, I would say it becomes absolutely critical for them to think that it must support the virtual network functions and hence have physical and virtual networking capabilities. And I think this is where CA VNA becomes so critical to really bring that virtual network function capabilities and support that so you can realize hybrid network functions.